Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am your most gracious host, Miss Sasha. With Real Reading Talk, I discuss the real systemic issues at the very core, the very foundation, as to why we have these high levels of illiteracy in the Black community and the ways in which we can combat these issues together. I welcome you once again, my old heads, my newbies, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope that you are sharing this content because, again, sharing is caring. I'm about to get right on into it. Reading aloud. Yes. That is a passion of mine, right? So this topic right here, I'm definitely biased on, okay? Because with reading aloud, I'm able to showcase my acting roots, y'all. Your girl wanted to be an actress since she was 10 years old. I knew I was going to be an actress, okay? I'm talking about I was in plays, all right, back in the day when I was a Christian and we would go to church, I was in the church plays. And then when in school, I was in middle school, I was in a play. And I just love just the stage and being able to make those characters come to life. When I was in high school, I was in plays. In fact, I had won the drama award, okay, in high school. So your girl know a little bit something about acting, all right. My family just knew. They like, yeah, she about to go to Hollywood and all that. I'm like, yeah, and all that. But that didn't happen, which honestly I'm kind of glad it didn't, because Hollywood, they on some Hollywood stuff. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. However, when you got a gift, you got a something, a talent, it don't just go away. Okay. Now, of course, with anything that you have to nurture it, right? You still have to make sure that you are doing everything you can to make it become top notch, fine tune it, always practicing it, right? Because practice leads to mastery, all of that, right? So, with that being said, though, with reading aloud, you don't have to have acting skills. However, you should have at least a little something, because with reading aloud, what it does is it helps that child feel like they are actually in the book. These are things that I have heard from kids. They say, "Oh man, you made the book come to life. You made me feel like I was in the story." All of these things, I've heard this throughout the years of me reading books. And again, yeah, I do have some of them acting skills, whatever. You don't have to have those, but if you got the right heart and you have the intention to want your child to want to read, please, what? Your baby gonna be like, read it again and again and again, okay? What are you doing? You're helping to develop a love for reading. That's why reading aloud is something that you should be doing. Period. Full stop. Like as much as you can. All right. And so what I wanted to share with you guys, real quick, 5 ways in which how reading aloud can help your child with their literacy skills. Okay. So the first one, reading aloud actually is great for children who struggle with reading. So if you have a child, maybe your child has dyslexia, okay? Maybe they are struggling with connecting those sounds to the letters. Maybe they're struggling with trying to decode. Maybe it's just they may not even have dyslexia. Maybe it's reading that's just not coming to them as quickly as maybe your other kids or other children they have encountered, right? Well, reading aloud can help with that, because now what they're doing, they're hearing the words being pronounced, they're hearing how the tonality of the particular story. All right. So they're hearing the voice inflections. Okay. So they're learning, okay, like if you are, reading something and then it has a question, and obviously our voice kind of tends to go up a little bit when we're asking a question. They're learning all of these different things just by listening to a story. So with you actually reading aloud, it actually can help that child who may struggle with reading, because as we know, a lot of kids who struggle with reading, what do you think they're going to do if they can't do it? If it's hard to them and it doesn't come easy for them, what are they going to do? Give up. 9 times out of 10, they say, man, forget this, man. And they're going to get frustrated and be like, man, I don't want to read and suck. I hate reading all woo, 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 woo. But if you're reading aloud, now what you're doing is you're helping them to develop a love for reading. All right. That's number one. Number two, you're able to bond with your child. Okay. That is something that most parents who care about their children, they care about the relationship with their children, they trying to think of any way possible to bond with their child. And guess what, y'all? It's free. You ain't got to worry about somebody always trying to figure out where I'm going to take them and they want to go here and I got to spend money and whoop de whoop and all of that. Now you're able to develop a connection with them through the simple act of opening a book. And then you start reading and then they're like, wow. And that connection right there, they are learning that, okay, yeah, my mom, my dad, man, they really, they want to be around me. They want to be close to me. They want to be next to me. Okay. So bonding with your children, oh my goodness, reading aloud does that. Trust. Number three, the creativity goes up exponentially. Okay. Because remember, when you are reading aloud, now what's happening is not only are they seeing the pictures, or even if you could be, it may be a book that's a chapter book that don't have pictures. Still, though, their creativity is going up. Now they're envisioning what's going on in the story. Heck, they probably envisioning themselves in the story. They're imagining themselves. They're like, okay, if they're listening to the book, for example, one of my very most popular chapter books that I've read on my channel is JD and the Great Barber Battle. I mean, that book right there, I'm like, folks, comment after comment. They love it. They love it. And imagine, especially that little boy, right? That little black boy. And he's like, had some struggles with maybe he didn't have the haircut that he wanted, or maybe his haircut he wasn't able to get his haircut that particular week, but he's listening to JD and the Great Barber Battle and the struggles that JD was going through when his mom gave him that jacked up haircut. And my dude, he like, man, can I wear a hat? Can y'all give me a ride? Like, I'm sick. Man, I ain't going to school. Okay. All because of the haircut. How many of our young brothers have dealt with that? I'm quite sure, you know what I'm saying? A nice amount of them, right? Okay. So again, the creativity goes up, right? So again, they're just imagining, the whole story scene. They are imagining themselves. Hey, they may even imagine themselves becoming a writer. And they may have some ideas of, you know what, I can write a story about boom, 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 right? So number 4, the discussion starts to show up. Oh, yes. How many times have we talked about how, especially as your child starts getting a little older, you want to have conversations with your child. You want to find out, the typical, how was school and asking all these different questions. Now you don't have to go to those typical questions, which, by the way, and that's something, a topic for another day. You don't have to drill them with, so how was school? What you learn? What y'all do? Because 9 times out of 10, they forgot. Because a lot of them, for real, they just couldn't wait to get out. Okay. But if you are reading aloud, now a discussion happens. So say, hypothetically, if you're reading the story, Be Kind to Eddie Lee, the story about the little boy who has Down syndrome. And he was getting picked on by the one kid in the story, and how the one kid was trying to keep him, he didn't want him to be around him and the other little girl. The little girl, she was trying to be cool because her mother taught her manners, but still at the same time, she was still kind of torn because she like, okay, I want to kick it with this guy and we trying to go do this. But here's Eddie Lee, he looks different and all that. So now your child is having conversations. Now they can have discussions about this particular genetic disease, if you will, Down syndrome, right? And so that's a great way to have those very important discussions when you are reading aloud to your child. All right. And then the last one, seeing themselves in the story. Okay. Meaning what? When you're reading aloud, I'm always promoting making sure that you get books that are culturally relevant. All right. Making sure that you get books that your child can see themselves being reflected. Okay. because that is one of the ways that we are able to get our child to read. They want to see themselves in the story. They want to see, hey, oh, okay, I can, again, using JD and Great Barber Battle. There's another book, Damon Learns to, I think it was called Damon Learns to Earn. Again, these are books where you have the Black boy as the main character. And then you have, of course, books where the Black girl is the main character. I'm a pretty little Black girl. I think that's one of the titles. Again, when our children, when they see themselves reflected, when they see, oh, this little girl, she got braids like me. Or, he got a fade like me. Or she has a hijab like me, right? Or if it's somebody, you may be reading a book that's dealing with a particular faith. Oh, wow. Oh, this child, they're celebrating Christmas like me, or they're going to church like me, or they're celebrating the Eid, or they're going to the mosque like me, right? When you are doing that, now that child is like, okay, all right, now I can get into this reading. Okay, I'm feeling this book. Okay. So again, just a recap of the 5 benefits to reading aloud. Number 1, great for children who struggle with reading. Number 2, bonding with your child or children. Number 3, creativity goes up exponentially. Number 4, discussion starts to show up. And number 5, they see themselves in the story because you were intentional as their parent or caregiver, making sure that you got a book that was culturally relevant. That's what I have for y'all. I hope this was great. I hope that you guys utilize these different tips. Again, my intention is for us to help eradicate the high levels of illiteracy in our communities and get back to how we used to be within our communities, okay? Take it back to what our ancestors taught us, which was to value literacy, value reading, value writing as well, all right? Reading and writing are brothers and sisters, okay? Those who are great writers are typically what? Great readers. They're reading constantly, all right? So with that being said, I thank you all again for listening to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am your most gracious host, Ms. Sation. And remember, please take care and remember, reading is freedom, and read for at least 30 minutes a day. Nice. Right? I hope that everybody enjoyed that episode, gained a lot of benefit from it, and we just keep doing what we need to do to make those changes one day at a time. So just a reminder, I am a pre-K through 4th grade reading tutor, and I'm a certified dyslexia tutor. So if your child has been diagnosed with dyslexia, or if your child is just simply struggling, or if you just want to just keep your child, ahead and you want to just keep them, keep learning and keep getting better with their reading, then what you need to do is go to my website, abclearntutoring.com, and click on that free reading assessment today. Also, I'm the founder and executive director of ABC Read. Our mission is to develop and nurture a culture of literacy in Black and underserved communities. And we appreciate you all helping us tremendously by just going to our website, abcread.org. Check out what we've been doing in the community. And if you would be so kind to click on that donate button, that would be absolutely phenomenal, okay? Because your dollars, they help to purchase books that are culturally relevant and for us to be able to put on absolutely amazing reading programs, all right? For our youth and adults in the community here in the city of Cleveland. And also, please go to my website, readingisfreedomshop.com, so that you can purchase your Reading is Freedom merch, just like you see right there, that mug right there over my right shoulder. And there's a plethora of different items that you can purchase. Again, it's about supporting and making sure that we're promoting literacy in our community. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel where this podcast will be, Reading is Freedom. Make sure you like, comment. Those comments will really help. So just make sure you say your piece, you know what I mean, as well. That really helps with the algorithm and all that great stuff, all right? So make sure that you do that. And then, let me get her down. Let me get her down, okay? Healed, empowered, resilient, y'all. Yes, your girl is an author, a co-author with 9 other amazing, remarkable, just outstanding women, all right? And we are in this book talking about how we were able to take our setbacks and turn them into comebacks, okay? This right here, this is an easy read, a beautiful read to where you get to read these different stories about how we overcame, y'all. And we still overcoming. We ain't just made it. We're not saying that, okay? Because definitely we're always going to be a work in progress. However, we're able to identify the different issues that we've had and said, you know what? We're going to break this generational trauma that we've been passing on within our communities. So make sure you grab your copy on Amazon, all right? So with that being said, there you have it, you guys. And I want to end with the quote, all right? And the quote is from LeVar Burton, which is, "For me, literacy means freedom for the individual and for society." All right, you all. So you all take care again. Thank you all again for listening to another episode of Real Reading Talk. I am Miss Sasha, and remember, reading is freedom. And please keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. Peace.